Nigga driving a casket. That's where he will. As we move through the postseason, Ant hits the franchise Google, man. Welcome back to another episode of Real Talk, the show. Tune in or tune out. You know what I'm talking about? Whatever you need to do, just get down and lay down, man. Listen, salute to all your league owners and things like that, man. You do you, I do me. Mind your business, I mind mine. You know what I'm saying? There's enough room for all of us here. But right now, whether you like it or not, most of y'all don't. That be watching on the low. We got the best league around, hands down. Ask somebody. Find out. Don't ask nobody. Find out. Whatever the slogan used to be is still here. Because it used to be that since Madden 17. You heard? Anyway, playoffs is still on, man. We had a little delayed day. Uh, but we got back to the championship games got played today. Both started around 5:30, 5 and 5:30 respectively. And our matchups will proceed tomorrow. With that being said, once we get out of the championship round, it goes to the idle week, which is for those that aren't playing in the big dance. We get to celebrate the players of the league, man. We get to talk about the Pro Bowl selection, and if anybody you think got snubbed or deserved it that didn't get it, please comment that in the comment section if you are in the league. Tell us what you think about the Pro Bowl selections. But we're gonna get right into it, man. Just let y'all know we here on deck with motherfucking Maximilian in the building as always and my co-host. Let's get to it. All right, Max, the Pro Bowl roster, man. Anything you would like to share before we dig into who got what, when, where, and how?
Um, Offensive year. Best O lineman didn't make the Pro Bowl. Don't get it.
You said the best O lineman didn't get it.
He didn't make the Pro Bowl. I don't get it.
A guy that won best offensive lineman of the year got snubbed from the Pro Bowl.
Yep.
What the fuck? Must get that? Is that some Madden shit?
E E E.
EA
It's in
is
the
in the
game.
game, yes, sir. All right. Well, without further ado, let's take a look at those that will be playing in the 2033 Pro Bowl, starting with head coaches on down. Who you think will represent the AFC as the head
Uh,
coach?
I would think Jimbo's coach. I would think
You would say the
maybe.
Broncos coach?
Yeah, maybe the Dolphins. Whichever one had that maybe a certain coach has got a better player relationship where all the players in the league love him.
Would the coach have to be a playoff coach, a playoff team for them to be able to?
I would think so. The way that this league is and our Madden Junkies NFL league, in the sense, I would think the competitiveness is still there. It's just coaches that can have a little bit of fun with it.
So let's do this before we go into it. How about we do this? let's look at records in the regular season, and then let's talk about you exclude the Ravens and the Buccaneers, and you ask yourself, is the Giants head coach worthy of the Pro Bowl NFC head coach? How about the Cardinals coach? How about the Browns? How about the Bills? How about the season the Lions and 49ers had? You're looking at the Raiders, Broncos, Texans, Falcons, Eagles, Dolphins, all were playoff teams. Are there any teams? You know who I would give it to? The head coach of the AFC? I would give it to the Bengals. I think they improved. I know they was one game over 500, but I thought they played down the stretch. They had a brutal schedule. We talked about it. Lost their chances to make the playoffs, but I think that team is headed in the right direction with that coach. After having a couple of draft classes and off seasons under his belt, I like the Bengals, man. I think they played really well this year.
I can see that in a light. I can see that.
I like the Bengals head coach. I like C. Hound representing the AFC as the head coach of the AFC team in the Pro Bowl. Now we have to find as an NFC team, NFC head coach. All right, so let's start here. 13. Let's see if we can go down. Cowboys 8 and 9. Bears. All right, nope, gotta go. All right, how about the Saints at 9 and 8? I think they do that every year. I don't
They're
think the
around
coach.
there,
Yeah,
so it's like
I
I
don't
don't know
think the
about
coach
that.
improved anything. How about the Philadelphia Eagles head coach? Does he have
I
a
can see
shot?
that. I can see that too. I can see that.
All right, Falcons head coach. I think we eliminate the Falcons. I don't think he would deserve to be the head coach of the NFC team. All right, we continue to go up. How about the 49ers, man? They had a great year this year,
I
13 and
feel like in
4.
the NFC it would actually be between the Eagles or the 49ers, but it just
No
depends.
Lions coach, Antonio
Mm,
Todd.
no, just because when they're up for like the year and then back down. I feel like it would be a resemblance of like uh
All right, so 49ers coach, Eagles coach. What
Dallas
about the
kind of.
Cardinals coach?
Uh, I feel like the Giants and the Cardinals would be like the first calls, and then like if they did not want to, or if they were, declined, maybe Giants coach too close to the loss. Cardinals coach maybe just might be derived
All right,
focus somewhere else or
so
vacation.
the phone call has been
It just
made to you, Joe Judge. Do you want to be the Pro Bowl's head coach?
uh not really particularly interested in it this year. I ain't gonna lie to you.
All right, so then we picking between the Eagles and the 49ers. And which one of those coaches this year you think deserve to be the head coach of the NFC East or NFC Pro Bowl team?
I probably would go Drew, honestly. Think he had a pretty good season. Um, like a solid season as far as like scheduling and stuff too as well.
They had a lot of players
I feel like
voted for the Pro Bowl as well this year too.
yeah, I feel like yeah, and I feel like we've seen the Eagles kind of in that like that first round situation kind of to see the 49ers in the second round situation. I feel like yeah, they probably would be the coach if I was to guess.
All right, so congratulations to the 49ers and their head coach Drew as the NFC head coach for the Pro Bowl. Now that we got that out the way and the two coaches that will be coaching those games, let's get to who made what, when, where, and how on this Pro Bowl selection. And these are the teams, the players that are won't be playing in the Super Bowl. Those guys will get their Pro Bowl jerseys, but will not be playing in the game. So as we go through the Pro Bowl list, let's start right now and let's get to it. We're going to start with the two starting quarterbacks of the NFC and the AFC. So we see Nico Amaliva is the starting quarterback, QB1 for the NFC side of things. On the flip side of it, we're looking at Felix Triggerman Harper. Now, there are two of the top three quarterbacks as far as stat wise this year our league have. Um, outside of Ray Wills and Anthony Iverson, I think uh, The first two QB1s are pretty much right. Um, would you disagree or agree with me that these two guys are deserving for the QB1 spots on both sides?
Yeah, they are both of them. I think it fits.
All right, so let's talk about young Nico. Third season as a coach, I mean as a player, a QB under Tom Brady as Tom Brady. I'm sorry, Peyton Manning as his offensive coordinator. I mean the Cardinals were goat fought at the head coach, and then Peyton Manning. They've been that tenure been there for a long time, man. These guys been there. So we looking at what Peyton Manning was able to do with Kyler Murray, and then what Kyler Murray been a mentor to Amaliva. What Amaliva has been able to do in his short career in the NFL. Um, it seems like that Cardinals team is getting completely better, and it's like they're a lot of seasons removed from their last Super Bowl. But it seems like this team, is still in the hunt and is like right there on the cusp of being able to get back to a Super Bowl and even win one. And I think with young Nico, they have a really good chance of doing it. What different type of quarterback is he compared to what Peyton Manning did for Kyler Murray? What are some of the different tangibles you see in Nico that got his game plan at a high level right now?
Um, I mean, flat out his size. First thing you think of is Kyler really small. He's a baseball guy. Nico stands tall. Has a different developed passing game. I feel like because of it, his transgressions to his reads, what he's able to do with his pocket presence versus Kyler playing more of a improviser first type of thing. Kyler can still throw from the pocket, but being 5'10", you know, league starts getting 6'8" linemen and whatnot. It kind of does play a factor into it. Nico's able to really gain control of the offense and command it. I think that just kind of fits within the playing style.
I mean, when you got Kyler Murray and the things that he did as the best quarterback our league has seen, um, they're big shoes to fill. But if there's a quarterback filling those shoes, it is the guy that they handed the keys to. 81 touchdowns is a lot of touchdowns in a year. 36 interceptions. Let me ask you this: do you think that the interceptions have to come down for Nico to take that next step?
Um, I feel like that's what the coach would say. I mean, the ratio is still pretty uh, favorable. The ratio is still pretty favorable for Nico. So, I mean, a lot of people wish they could throw 81 touchdowns if it came with 36 picks. So, I feel like it just, that's just the pressure of the Peyton Manning offense and Goat Falk. They want to see less picks.
Let's talk about from the ears up when it comes down to Nico. Um, does he have it? Does he have those Peyton Manning tangibles?
Um, I mean, early enough, I would say yes. I just think their play styles are different, so it comes different the way when his Peyton Manning mode cuts on. But I feel like he definitely has moments.
I think he's more Peyton Manning's clone than Kyler Murray was. I think Peyton Manning had to change the way he wanted to coach the quarterback for Kyler Murray to get it. And when he did get it, and they did figure it out together as offensive coordinator and quarterback, they went on a run that was big time. But I will say this: I think Nico is more his speed, even in gameplay. I mean, we've seen games where Nico come out of the games with 5 interceptions, 7 interceptions, big time interceptions. And barely lose the game or win the game still. That's Peyton Manning like in his earlier stages, like where he's at in his career right now. He's ahead of what Peyton Manning looked like at in his first 3 years in the league. As far as touchdowns and interceptions and things like that, people forget Peyton Manning as a rookie and his third year led the league in interceptions. You don't get to that without having a having to go. What I mean by that is they give him the green light to be able to put himself in them situations, and they want him to learn from those mistakes, to go through it now and get it out of his system, so when he gets to the point where he really figures everything out and understands how to read defenses and the way his offensive coordinator does. I think we'll see even better quarterback. I think his trajectory is higher than what Kyler Murray's was his first 2 years under Peyton Manning. I think Nico is a little farther ahead of those guys. What do you think?
Um, I would agree with the statement of like at this point in Kyler Murray's career, he definitely wasn't where Nico is, but I don't know if he'll be able to get to size up to Kyler Murray as an entirety. Um, Mainly due to just time, but I feel like that'll be the downfall in the overall conversation with Nico and what he could have been versus what we saw Kyler turn into.
Right now, as QB1 in the NFC, right now, where would you put young Nico when it comes down to the quarterback class? If we were to go top five, would he make that top five right now?
Like of all or
Of
right
every
now.
quarterback available to play a game right now, would you put
Oh,
Nico in the top five?
definitely.
All right, so let me get a clean number from you, 1 through 5. Where would you place Nico amongst the league right now,
Besides the two quarterbacks in the Super Bowl, or including the two quarterbacks in the
including
Super
any quarterback that's available, any quarterback that played that starts for a team in this league right now? Is Nico top
I
five?
would put him definitely top five. I would put him like, that's a good question.
I think we can argue he might not be top five right now. Yes.
Nah, I mean, I would
What?
go
No.
with no order. I would have Ray Wheels, Harper. Um,
Now see me, I put Harper and Nico kind of in like that same conversation. But go ahead, because we're gonna talk about Harper too. Um,
I would put Ray Wheels, Harper, Iverson, like three.
I'm
Wilson.
not putting Harper over top of DT I'm not putting him over top of the
Well, yeah,
Philadelphia
because I'm
Eagles
thinking about
quarterback.
Harper just kind of swung the block in a sense, so
Yes,
I might take Harper out
I
because
don't see him up here, Pharaoh.
he just
I'm on
kind of
my
swung
show. He not up here.
the offense team. I might put. I'm actually I lied. I'm going.
You got Mike Weber. You got
I
some
was just about to say
quarterbacks, bro.
Weber's got to
Quarterbacks
be in
right
there.
now.
I'm going. Ray Wheels, no order. Ray Wheels, AI, Nico, Weber, and Bryce.
Are we missing somebody?
I don't think so.
I
Just
think I
because
think I think Darren Thomas
there's arguments.
is in
There's
that car.
arguments.
I know. I think Darren Thomas is in that conversation though right now. Are we saying Nico is better than Darren Thomas right now?
If it's God given, I would think at this point, yes. Like there was a time where DT was like undisputedly a top five. I feel like now we can make that argument, so I'm gonna just go ahead and make it that like Nico's kind of arrived in that sense.
I still like I still like Darren. I still like Darren. I still like the Golden Child. I think the Golden Child can honestly, argue for that top five right now. And I think Nico is pushing the envelope. I definitely think he's flirting with five right now, like somewhere between five. Could we squeeze him at four? With a guy like Weber, with a guy like Ray Wills, with a guy like Iverson, with a guy who else? It got to be somebody we missing right now, man. It got to be somebody we missing. Oh, Bryce Young. So make the argument. Why is Bryce Young better than the Golden Child?
Um, I would just say that his throwing ability in general, like beyond the numbers, I would just say his throw ability is better. DT's a better athlete for sure. But I would just give Bryce the throwing. He's a for sure fire thrower.
Would you say Bryce Young is better than Mike Weber?
That's a good one. I don't I
I'm
don't
only
know.
talking about these guys right now to give us a perspective on what
I,
why I feel like Nico is flirting with top five right now.
I don't know. I think Weber at times is like second, third quarterback in the league when I watch some of them games. Sometimes he can like argue first just the way he's like when he's fired, he's a dangerous quarterback. I don't know. That's why I think he's got a different switch than Bryce. I don't know if it's just the way that we play differently that like, it's a different look. I feel like they're pretty comparable though, honestly.
Now, the one thing I agree with you is I do think we can argue that Weber is the best quarterback in the league right now. He can be argued
He
as
can
the
make
number
that
one quarterback.
argument. Like that's what I'm saying. He can make that argument, especially when you if you sit there and watch a game and be like, "Oh my God, like holy fuck." Like I mean, I don't know. Like I've seen him throw some shit. I've seen him throw shit that no quarter I've never seen other quarterback
That's
throw.
what I'm saying. Like he's
And
different.
so like I've seen it before. I could say the same sometimes for moments about Ray Wheels. Iverson as a whole is a unique quarterback.
So
Nico's got
let me ask you this: what is the NFC getting in the Pro Bowl with young Nico? Let's talk about his 3 years. As a rookie, he threw 80 touchdowns. The year after that, sophomore year, he threw 93 touchdowns. And some would say this was his best season for sure. 130 QB rating, 7,400, 93 touchdowns, 25 interceptions, and 72% completion. This year, 65, 96, 81. I mean, over his first 3 years, we really looking at something very special again. Um, the problem is, you, we've seen this before, right? Like we've seen this before out of Arizona. So how much does that take away from you? You know, we always talk about the Bucks and their system quarterbacks. Is it? Can we say the same here in Arizona?
um uh I mean the thing is with saying system on the Cardinals, it's like what system would you call it? Passing the ball? There's not one defiant concept or system that defines the offense of the Cardinals. So like I don't really chop that up to like a downplay on the quarterback. It's just the standard that they're held at. Kind of like the standard of a running back going to the Bucks the first 8 seasons of the league. Like he could have drafted a running back every year, right? We would have known what was going to happen every year because it's a standard. It's not like I can't downplay that. It's just if they live up to the standard, I'm going to call them great. If they exceed the standard, I'm going to give the credit for that. If he was to come out, if Falk was I mean, look at Sam Howell. Sam Howell he played a season or two
I'm gonna tell you like
in a
this:
sense.
there's not a quarterback in the league that we're talking about right now that has numbers like this in the 3 year stretch right now. There's no other quarterback that got these type of
So
numbers.
I wouldn't say that. Yeah, playing. Oh, like he's a. This is
Now we got quarterbacks with great numbers and great, a high amount of touchdowns and all that. Even this year, I mean, you had Ray Wills throw 74 touchdowns this year. Uh, you had uh, you had Trigger Man throw somewhere between 50, 54 to 60 touchdowns this year. I mean, Iverson threw almost 70 touchdowns this year. Um, Bryce threw a high amount of touchdowns this year. So I mean, we've seen it. You know, we've seen it.
I
But
think
what I'm
Nico
saying,
just matches, like you said. Like I feel like when the moment that he drafted, it was just like, oh shit, that's actually a good draft pick. Like everything that the Cardinals would like in the quarterback, Nico can deliver,
I
and
mean,
then some.
6'6", 195. The kid is
Like
a
what?
the fact that he has dual threat capability, like he's up there in the higher echelon of speed quarterbacks, and he's a pocket passer. This guy stands in that pocket and do what he got to do from the pocket.
Because that's something
Um,
like it just matters of who the guy matches up. Like I'll say, like look at Rob, double back for that quarterback. We questioned it. guy matches up with his scheme. Sam Howell I thought that could be a real possibility. I was like, he's lack interest, but I'm like, Sam Howell could be a real possibility until I seen him play with them. It just didn't match up. It was like a missing puzzle piece. It was just like, oh fuck that, like that didn't match up. Took another year to go get a quarterback. So it was like, I feel like the chance isn't on. Oh, the chance isn't on like on what I'm trying to say. If the player is gonna necessarily match the scheme all the time, it's like you could take a player and if he matches up with it already, like a little bit, you get an intangible, you get a speed, you know what I'm saying? What you get a speed corner, you get whatever. It could be one thing, and then just the development with it is like, oh, this is the perfect fit for your
I'm
team.
gonna tell you like this. The only thing Nico missing right now is a Super Bowl. Simple as that.
It's
I
a
mean,
Super Bowl, yeah.
offensive player of the year in 32, most valuable player at 32. He comes back 31, offensive player of the year, best quarterback at 32. You can't deny that. Like the only thing he's missing right now, and that's not even a problem for me. Him not having a Super Bowl. Yeah, he's only been in the league 3 years, three Pro Bowl appearances. And I mean, big time games and user games, 10 touchdowns, 13 touchdowns, things like that. Like he's, I mean, and then it's just the quarterback size, bro. And he came in, not a lot of people understood or knew what this guy was when he drafted him at pick 3 in the 2031 draft. It was only a few of us that knew who he was, but as a couple seasons went by, people, especially in our circle, they started like looking up on him and peeping him and realizing what he really drafted. He drafted a fucking animal at the quarterback position, a guy that can, be a game changer. And that's 6'6", man, and 94 speed, like, he's running a 4.4, and you really don't see him use his legs, as much as, you would think that his attributes would allow him to. So he's a dot up guy, man. I think this kid um, deserves to be in the top five. Now, until I came here, I was saying maybe not top five yet because he's just too young. But now
Nico's
I'm
top
looking at it
five,
all.
yeah.
He's top five for sure.
Nico's top
Um,
five.
all
It
right.
happened
So,
fast, but
so,
he's top five.
so what does he bring to the Pro Bowl?
I
Do
mean, in a
do
Pro
you
Bowl
think the
setting,
NFC guys want to play with this guy?
yeah, he looks. I mean, he has fun. First thing you gotta know about Nico is he enjoys the game of football flat out. So, um, he has fun with it. He enjoys flinging the ball around. Everybody loves that usually, except for the running backs, honestly. So it's like in a Pro Bowl setting, that's gonna be the fun part. Nobody's really looking to run the ball in a Pro Bowl for real. Like a little bit of trick plays here like that. But I mean, he's an athlete that just likes to have fun. Can throw every pass, equipped from the pocket, outside the pocket. Ball player.
This nigga said the goat is pushing it. Definitely a goat. Read the other shit. So Craig said something too. Oh my God, let's get into the comment section here on this Nico conversation real fast. What am I missing? Let me get in here. Hold up. I gotta get back. I'm missing things. Let's get back to it. All right. So after we said that, you heard things like, all right, here we go. You heard Coach Rob says 1 down year. I'm assuming he's talking about his quarterback.
Probably.
Then he said better decision making. That's it. Bias. So he ain't like what the fuck you talking about. Then he said Nico is nice.
I go against
And then Craig said
PT.
Ray Wills best quarterback in the league. Then Drew said can't fault players for landing in great offensive schemes. Schemes is what elevates players. You're 100% right. We make less. We make less than. Less mistakes and more efficient. Nico definitely top 3 though. Then Falk comes in. Nico, goat. The goat. The goat is pushing it. Definitely a goat. That's Craig's response. Goat not pushing it. Check it. It's filming. He aggressive. No quick hike. Shorty. Oh shit. The shots is fired. What you said? No. You changed your mind? No, go ahead. You good? Go ahead. All right. He said shots is fired. No products of the game over here. So since you set up a play longer, he's better. Nah, it's what he do after the play. You can't hike the ball first down in the NFL. No comparison. None. There's definitely a comparison. Nah, it ain't. All right, they going crazy. We're going to go to Trigger Man though. I think Trigger Man's story a little bit different than Nico. Nico got drafted by the Cardinals. They saw something nobody else saw, and came up and got him at 3. Felix Harper, Mr. Trigger Man, HBCU, Alcorn State. The last time they had a quarterback of this caliber, I think he had a Hall of Fame career, and we're talking about Steve McNair, Aaron McNair. Now Trigger Man, I mean, I think the nickname fits him, Trigger Man, flat out. But his story is a little different. So let me ask you: do you feel like he can crack the top 5 on a breakout year? Because it's just a breakout year, or did last
I
year
feel like if
solidify him?
we was to be talking on ESPN, certain people would be like, Felix Harper's top 5 right now. You know what I'm saying? They would. You know what I'm saying? You would get somebody saying that because of the the way he was able to captivate the league in a year. Um,
His 2 years in Seattle: 32 interceptions, 47 picks as a rookie, 37 touchdowns, 35 picks. Sophomore year, he
this reminds
5,000
me of
yards.
like Marcus Mariota when he got drafted to Tennessee. Like if he had got drafted somewhere else, Felix Harper would probably be a top 5 quarterback. Like if he would have started with the Dolphins, or if he would have started with the Eagles or another team. I just can't think right now.
I'm
Uh,
not, I'm not, I'm not disclaiming that, oh my God, his first 2 years was terrible. They traded him, bottom line. And since he became a Dolphin, he's played better football completely around the board. And you can say top 5 stats around the board as well. Somewhere between top 5 to top 10 in his 2032 season, but right now he's a top 3 quarterback this year stat wise. The only thing other quarterbacks got more than him right now is touchdowns, and then the high interceptions, 44. I mean, as this is the second most interceptions he's thrown in his 4-year career, and that the one of them was 47 with the Seahawks, the other one was 44 with the Dolphins. But I think the Dolphins is the same in a sense, is the same way the coach for the Cardinals are. They let their quarterback, they let him play. You know what I'm saying? And mistakes come with throwing the ball 95% of the game. What do you think?
I feel like because of the aggressiveness of the league and how some people are just more established in a sense. There's a lot of guys with 3 years on one team that could kind of make the argument for top 5. So I would have to leave him out of it. But he's definitely a top 10 just because of the emergence in the last 2 years. It matters.
I mean, I really like to see. You got to think about it. This kid played in the AFC Championship last year, and as the first season as a Dolphin, followed that season up with 112.5 QB rating, threw more passing yards, threw more touchdowns. Obviously, he did go up in interceptions, but we're not concerned with 69 completion percentage. That's outstanding for a quarterback. But the question to for you is: are there 4 more quarterbacks you see better than him right now, where he's at in his career?
Um, Wheels, AI. Um, Weber's been out the top 3 for the last couple of years, but I probably would still say Weber. Um, Bryce. Shit, DT might be able to make the argument. Probably not with this last year that just happened, but like years before that. Um,
I know one thing. Felix Harper is the QB1 for the AFC right now. Let me ask you this: what does he bring to the table for that type of team? Like, who is Felix Harper?
uh, from what I've seen, he's like a spark, a consistent spark player. Like he can do things to electrify the game via pass, via run. Um,
Would you say he single-handedly brought the Dolphins back?
oh, like as a whole, I kinda like that, and then the good timing of Deion Smith, like. kind of like made for a good recipe. Like like yeah, just made for a good recipe. I don't kind of interesting
Would
on
would you
good.
say would you say he's a improviser or field general?
Kind of both. That's kind of a trick question. I feel like sometimes he's a field general because to stay consistent with concepts is reading the field, assessing the field, but there's times where he can kind of abandon just traditional football, taking what you give me and go out there and do things with his feet and make plays outside the pocket.
I
I feel like that's
agree.
just
I think he more within his system. I think he's more of a field general. Only on the sense of his offense is not complex, but it's when you stay at it and you stay with something, um, as good as he can be offensively, that same attack and presence can also be his downfall. Um, I think Felix came in and when he shuffled through quarterbacks trying to figure out who was the next quarterback up since Dan Marino Jr., I think once he landed on Felix Harper, he got comfortable with that decision and played it out and let it play itself out. And he did a really good job with him in 2 seasons with him. Because to get to the AFC Championship as your first year in Miami says something, and to get yourself back at least to the divisional round, and to not just get yourself back to the divisional round, you beat your nemesis, you beat the guy who single handedly played a major role in your downfall. In the Buffalo Bills 2 years in a row, you was able to beat them in the big game, the playoff game. So I think Felix Harper, man, Trigger Man is exactly the right nickname for this guy because of who he is, man, the way he played the game. And he's comfortable. He's comfortable because as much as he can be a guy that can move around, you don't get a lot of it. Like he for 5'11", he sits in that pocket a whole lot, man. He sits in that pocket and he makes the reads on that field. They gonna add it in chat. What y'all talking about? They gonna add it. So I like him. Again, with the weapons that we're gonna show along with that what comes with the AFC Pro Bowl, I think Philip is in a good situation. I mean, he has great talent at the receiver position in Miami already. I think that he'll fit perfect as the QB1 for the AFC. I can't wait to see that head-to-head matchup between those two young gunners um, going at it right now. So there are two quarterback ones in the Pro Bowl right now. So we're gonna go to the backups and talk about some of their action right now. But these guys are their trajectory is high, their ceiling is high, and I don't see no falling off too much from either of those two guys. So let's get down to the next two quarterbacks, the backups, Bryce Young and Mike Weber. This is a good matchup right here too with Bryce Young and Mike Weber. Just real quick, just give me what type of quarterback is Bryce Young?
What type of quarterback is Bryce Young?
You say y'all need excuses for my win with school,
I would
though.
say
Laughing out loud. Who y'all?
I would say field general. Uh, Field general mixed in with the canning at the line ability.
See, me personally, I think he's more of an improvising quarterback
He
than a
he can be
than a
at
field
times,
general.
but his some of his better plays is in the pocket. He can be. I think that's a part of his game. But if you ask me, like, who is Bryce Young for the Giants? Not like real life Bryce Young. For the Giants, I would say he's a field general commanding quarterback. I really a do it all is what I would like to call him, but that sounds like overly exerted. But when I say do it all, it's like start off in the pocket, but as the pocket may collapse, he has that ability to apply the same threat out the pocket as in the pocket via deep shot or medium throws.
I think when you look at QB2 for the AFC, I think the same thing, improviser. I mean, he does all the same things too. This kid can stay in the pocket and deliver with high accuracy, and he can roll out and make plays, and then he also roll out and make plays happen when plays aren't there. When things break down, he makes a lot of things happen right there. So I would say, both these two quarterbacks, the backup quarterbacks in the Pro Bowl, to me, are both improvisers. I think Bryce Young has a really good handle on throwing the football on the run. He can make things happen. But I think he's very, very cerebral behind. When it comes down to playing quarterback from shoulder up. You know what I mean? I think he's a very smart quarterback. Um, and I think is only going to get better when he. Do you feel like he put it together yet? A complete season yet? Where he shows his quarterback intelligence and his athleticness together and really let it go.
Mm, not really to me. I just don't think the coach is fully interested in turning him into something that he's not. Like the coach turning Mike Weber into something that the coach is not, or like the scheme is not. Um, they could be missing out on another element. I would argue that they are, but the Bills have been a very successful football team, so I feel like at some point they also know what works for them.
All right, so we like QB2 on both sides of the AFC and NFC. All right, so Jaden Daniels is the third quarterback, and Derek King. Now, I mean, I like Derek Daniels. Don't get it twisted. He was a Raven. I understand. I like him a lot, but I think Derek King has proven that he belongs in conversations of something, right? Because he's been here 2 years in a row where he's been in the Pro Bowl. Um, whether he's there because of the starting quarterbacks from the Super Bowl teams aren't in it, and he's there, but he's been there, and we've seen nothing but improvement from Derek King year in and year out with the Raiders and young Ray what he's doing over there with that Raiders team. Um, I think
I might
he's
agree with this comment here that,
yeah,
that Mike Weber is slightly fallen off. I think he's still respected enough to be in my top five, but
Mike Weber
compared to
falling off,
compared to
unpopular
his first
opinion.
three compared to his first 4 years versus these last 2 or 3, I would say numbers wise a little bit off, but just flat out like spark and control of the offense. I feel like the offense is kind of like shifted in Buffalo, like
I
just
I
a
I, I mean
just a little bit,
here's
just
my
not like.
thing: is it because is he falling off, or is he more into the run game a little bit more too, though?
That's why
Like
I say, but I feel like when you change the dynamic of the team, he's still throwing the ball. It's just the numbers aren't even the same. Like you're still in the 300 attempts, close to or something like. You know what I'm saying? Without the same touchdown to interception ratio, I just that's an argument for less efficiency in a way. Still been a successful team, dominant playoffs, second round last year. First round exit this year, but still in the playoffs. I mean, it's not like the outcome is necessarily changing. Like, you know what I'm saying? They're still winning games. So they're still being, Weber's still being the leader, but I guess it's partly just getting intertwined with the run game more, but I feel like Weber's kind of like having Russ at some point hand the ball off too much. You're like, I don't know. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I
It's
mean, I,
falling
I,
off.
I, I can, I can see the argument. I can completely see the argument. I can completely see the argument, right? What I do like is I like the accuracy that he played with. He didn't lose that. That's still there, um, completely. But I do agree. I agree with Young Camden's comment. I agree with that completely. Um, I think Jaden Daniels throw the ball so fucking much. He has no point but to be where he's at, right? But Derek King, I think there's something special happening with that kid over there. I'm really, really impressed with what the Raiders is doing over there because not only, he knows he can line up and run the ball on anybody, and he's not content with that. He's content with getting better, and as his young quarterback gets better, his team gets better, and those wins start to pile up. And he's been consistent, 2 years in a row, been a playoff team. Um, and I think he's giving guys he give guys problems right now, whether the top player in the league or the bottom player in the league. When you play the Raiders, you in for a ball game. And he's starting to find a balance between how to pass the ball, and some passing plays that go along with that heavy power run game that they got over there. And I really respect what he's doing right now over there with Derrick King. I
Random
like it.
guess. Random guess. Motherfucking De'Aaron will finish. De'Aaron will finish top 7, either in yards or touchdowns or both
What
next year.
next year? Okay.
hmm
All right. Let's switch this
Remember I said
conversation.
this. Remember I said this.
Top 7. I like it.
At least yeah, top 7. It's hard. It's a competitive league. Top 7. That's still very credible.
All right. So let's get into this conversation of the H back ones right now. We got two different faces. We got some different running backs on this list. The same guys aren't actually here as we usually see right now. And it starts with Cameron Harris for the Arizona Cardinals, and then we got to go to Cedric Baxter. I call him Factor Baxter at the running back position. The next two, Owens and Martin. I would say this: Zeus has been like really showing up, and showing off for the last couple of years, man. Um, I think he's like really moving up the ladder right now, like big time. Like I think he's really in the starting to put himself in
I
that
think this
conversation.
back-to-back year he could have had a best running back would have been kind of a good staple on it, but Reuben Owens stealing that shit has definitely made me take note that usage might, be the ultimate factor for having that great running back. And if you're not using that great running back, how great can he really be?
Do you
Um,
feel like they underuse him in Philadelphia?
in
Because
Philadelphia,
I would
absolutely.
and
I scream it every week.
I
I
would
scream it like
say
every week.
in the last two seasons they've been using him way more than they ever used him.
Way more, but it's still an underuse. And I say that just because at some point they always peel back off of the Zeus effect. They always peel back off of it. So, hey,
What do you mean?
like they always pull off of it at some point in the season or some point in the late part of the season or late part of games. They pull off of the Zeus effect, and I feel like that goes into usage as a whole. He's finishing with good numbers, but when like those moments, and we need like those moments of defying gameness, I feel like a Reuben Owens, or what I'm saying, last game of the season, second to last game of the da da da, what I'm saying, this game, that game. There's just those games where like it's a complete takeover, and I don't think we really see that often with Zeus because the usage gets they peel off at some point. Talking about the coach, like they peel off at some point, so you never get to see that game where it's like, goddamn, like Zeus, 25 plus carries. He's got the yards in some of
Are
those
you
games. I've seen it.
have you not seen have he not had his defining moment yet? Like that moment where he dominates the game and hands down he wins the ball game for the Eagles. Are you saying you
I
haven't
feel like
seen
he's
that
had
yet?
he's had he's had like snippets, but it's like, I mean, like game against the Bucks, the Cards, me, you, playoff game week 1, 2, or whatever the case be. Like I just wait for that moment kind of because that's when it's a full like a full acceptance. Like this is the motherfucking guy. Like I feel like they know he's the guy, but like they won't let him go out there and take a game. So it's like that's a lack of confidence in a sense.
He said he won some big games this year though, so he's not in agreement with your comments right now. He's saying he won some big games with his running back this year. Um, while we're gonna debate that and see if that that statement is true, define what big games. You know what I'm saying? Like what games that you consider a big win this year. That Zeus has played the role of winning that game for him. Um, I think Zeus has been playing the best football of his career over the last two seasons. I think he's been using him a whole lot. He's been up there touchdowns, carries. He's been there. So right now we're gonna slide out of the Pro Bowl lineup and go look at stats real fast for these top four running backs over here. Cameron Harris is flat out on a breakout year. flat out. This is a breakout season for him. He actually stole the starting job over there because he wasn't slated to be the starting running back for the Arizona Cardinals. And the fact that he was planning on the bench for 4 years before they gave him the starting job. I mean, last year he was 1,000 yard back, but he split time with another back that we thought would be the starting running back for him. This year he got the full fledged start, and he had a completely breakout season this year with really good numbers. I think he led the league in rushing yards. We'll find out in a second, but um, Cameron Harris. Do you feel like he's here to stay?
Um, Completely on the offensive coordinator, Peyton Manning and that offense. It's like he could come back and have a 2,000 yard season, or he could come back and be 1,000 yards, but the offense is 7,000 yards passing. It just depends.
All right, so on 242 carries this year, he reached the 2,000 plateau. He averaged 9 yards a carry, 23 rushing touchdowns, 124.9 yards a game. Now let's see where that is amongst the league. I think he did have I think he did win a rushing title this year. Yep, he did. He won a rushing title this year. But again, he's on his breakout season right now. Now I played against Cameron Harris, and I'll tell you this: for 210 pounds, this guy breaks a lot of tackles, in my opinion. Like in game, like I know against us, he made some big runs, and it wasn't just he's loose type runs. It was come up out of traffic. He does a lot for this team. To me, um, he, he's giving them another that dimension that made him dangerous, made the Cardinals dangerous, and that's a running game that you have to pay attention to now. Our top three backs, top four backs are pretty much newcomers, and out of the four I'm looking at right now, only Johnny Martin had a great year as a rookie too. He went crazy as a rookie as well, and he followed it up with another great season right now. So I don't think he's a breakout running back. I think he has arrived. A third season of numbers like this, and we're putting him in conversations. But right now, Cameron Harris is the number one running back in the NFC, and then in the AFC, you got young Cedric Factor Baxter Jr. What did Now we can argue this flat out. You tell me if I'm wrong or not. Baxter is single-handedly the reason why the Broncos played in the AFC Championship this year.
Yeah, easy.
Now, let me ask you this: we've seen rookie running backs. We've seen Ruggs come in and do some things from the rookie standpoint. We've seen Casey Fields, just to name a few, rookie years have outstanding years. Do you think his top those guys though? You seen? I guess not his Israel. His Israel was completely different his rookie year. But where do you put him amongst first season in the NFL and 312 carries, 2,000 yards, 6 points. He averaged 7 yards a carry, 27 touchdowns on the year, 123 yards a game, 47 broken tackles. I mean, this guy's special, very special as a diaper dandy right now, and for him to be amongst the second leading rusher in the league in his rookie year is special. And again, we've seen these things done, but I think when you look at a running back that came in and had a breakout year, and that breakout year led to them, in the game before the Super Bowl means a lot in my opinion. So, uh,
I would say he's up there with. You got to remember, Hits Israel got a Super Bowl his rookie year. To the House got a Super Bowl his rookie year. I think Ruggs got a Super Bowl his rookie year. I think maybe not. Maybe it was the year after. I think I want to say the year after maybe for Ruggs. But I know Atutta, Hits Israel both got Super Bowls their rookie year. Atutta was the Super Bowl MVP. Same with no Hits Israel's rookie year. It was it might have been hit. Nah, it might have been hit or Isaiah Simmons. I think was the MVP. So those are like undisputeds to me. Um, I would put him right there, like the third, just because at this point in the season with a disc, for him to come in and really dominate an offense, starting at what he started at against not just regular people, CPUs. He's playing against top echelon guys and giving them fucking 200 yards, period.
Yeah,
And competing either in the game, winning it, or within a touchdown margin, kind of.
man, he
Like,
dominated game in and game out. There's not too many games you can really look
even
at.
play, and then came in the playoffs and dominated. So,
Yeah,
like,
ain't too many games you can really look at with this guy and say, this wasn't a full regular season and a lot of the postseason as well. I mean, you go down from game one and see what he did in game one. This is the start, right? So against the Chiefs, I don't know if he even played this game. This could have been a computer game where it just got simmed or whatever. But that was first two games. But then after that, what I mean, for the most part after that, he went crazy, right? Now the Ravens, I would say the Ravens really haven't given too many running yards to anybody this year. For the most part, I will say Zeus did rush for 100 yards on us this year. 9 carries, 36, or the year before, 9 carries, 36 rushing yards there. But after that, he's been stellar, man. He had some games where it wasn't 100 yards, but I mean, to make up for not having 100 yards, he come back and he hit you with 267, 226, 254. I mean, these are big time games. In the playoffs, look, 159, 139, and then he was held to 60 yards against the Ravens in the AFC Championship. But other than that, I mean, this is great football from a guy that's only in his first year. I expect him to be even better next year. I don't think the Broncos, found this talent and let it play itself out to not give him the ball the way they gave it to him this last year or this season. I don't see it happen. I think this kid is going to be flat out, what I mean, who he is. You know what I'm saying? Like he gonna be flat out who he is. So I like this kid. It was special to see what he did this year, and to be a running back one for the AFC side is big time. And then you got to go down to Johnny Martin and then Reuben Owens. So let's talk about it. We had now Reuben Owens was the number one running back in the draft class, and and he did exactly what we expected him to do, or did he do more than what we expected to happen with Reuben Owens? 357 carries in the year, 1,855 yards, 25 touchdowns, not one fumble, but 68 broken tackles. I mean, it's a lot of broken tackles, from a guy 205 pounds. What do you think about the season Reuben Owens had?
consistent, stayed like a train, just kind of consistently going, getting better with each game. Shown that he's probably going to be a product for the long run. Like I said, another guy going against some good top teams in the league, able to assert dominance, and kind of lead a team as the forefront of the offense. Maybe not all the way stat wise, but just in the way that the offense operates, he was the forefront guy for it.
So my thing is he like that? Is this guy for real?
I think so. He
I
showed me a lot of
Yeah,
showed
I
me a lot of
agree.
promise.
I think he's for real too. So when you look at the band, then Kenneth Walker the third. At the end of the day, he does this year in and year out 5.5. I think his numbers and carries went down this season because they threw the ball a lot more. 107.3 yards a carry. Still had 26 touchdowns on the ground for this kid. But when you look at the four running backs that are running backs one and two in the Pro Bowl, Harris breakout season, Baxter breakout season. Johnny Martin, he runs the back. That's a run back season right here. He had a great year in year one as well. I'll get to that real fast just to show it. But he had a great year in year one as well. 268 carries, 1659. He doubled that up a little bit, 7.7 yards a pop, 24 touchdowns. I mean, the guy averaged 130.9 yards this year, 39 broken tackles. I mean, he's for real. And honestly, he's the reason why another. This is what I mean by is your running back that guy? Can he change your culture of what you got going on over there? And Johnny Martin changed the Texans culture. Literally the reason why these guys played in the playoffs this year. Looking at all four of these running backs, I think now let me ask you this before we leave the running back conversation alone. Is there a running back out of these top four? Harris, Baxter, Martin, Owens, and Walker. Those running backs I'm talking about right now. Is there a running back you think that won't have these type of numbers next year?
If I had to guess one, it'd be maybe Harris, Walker, Baxter, Will, and then who was the last one?
You got Baxter, Martin, Owens.
Oh, Martin. How old is Martin? Do you know off the top of your head?
Say that again.
You know how old Martin is off the top of your head?
21.
Oh fuck no,
He
just
only been he
Cameron.
only he only been in the he only been in the league. It's his second year in the league.
Maybe Cameron.
You saying out of the ones you think he won't have the same numbers?
It's possible if there was one. Yeah, I think it would be Cameron.
All right. So I think Reuben Owens will have a better year than he had this year. Because I think now he knows he got a guy. Like you gotta think about it. He ended the season off with 35 carries in the game. And I think right now he knows what he has. And I think for the Cowboys to be successful, this guy is gonna have to play, have a light out year. So I think if you look at all of them, I think he will be the one that will improve his numbers. I think we can absolutely see Owens with 2,000 yards next season. He was almost there at 1855, but I think he gets well over the 2,000 yards. I think he get like uh, somewhere between like 2,500. I think you can see. I think you can literally see uh, Reuben Owens with 2,500 yards next year. Now, I don't think Baxter will. I don't think he. I think he'll be another 2,000 yard back again. But I do think that they're going to be able to be a little bit more. Like they don't. I'm not saying he won't have 312 carries, somewhere between 300 carries. But what I'm saying is that offense is very very explosive over there as a whole. So I think we will see Shador Sanders, playing at a high level as well. So Baxter and Shador together, I think is going to be a 1-2 punch with that receiving core over there as well. I think Johnny Martin already showed us in 2 seasons what he's about, so I don't really see that changing. I think Cameron Harris, the only way his numbers don't be 2,000 yards is if he decides. I mean, because 242 carries is not a lot of carries. If I think he doesn't reach the 2,000 yard mark if he gives them 142 carries. But if he touches somewhere between 200, 250 to 260 carries, I think we could see another 2,000 yard season. Because, or let me ask you, Max, do you feel like he snuck up on guys, and that now next year people are going to be worrying about him?
I think in a sense that's part of it. That's why I said it just depends. Depends on the coach. Because if Falk still wants to run the ball, I still think he can be very successful. But I would argue that some of that is sneaked up on work because it's Falky. Like, let's be real.
All right, so that's the running backs. Let's get back to the Pro Bowl over here and see what we got going on over there. But that was the running back ones and two that we talked about just now. All right, so back to the Pro Bowl list. All right, so let's get the wide receiver one on both sides. Wideman and Deion Smith. You can't go wrong with either one of these two guys, can you? They over there writing bars. They writing bars in the background. Oh my God! All right, so the two number one wide receivers in the NFC and the AFC at this point right now, Wideman and Deion Smith, are flat out dogs. Are flat out dogs, right? And in my opinion, I think any quarterback will love to throw to any one of these receivers at any moment. I think these two guys could play in any system and be who they are. The next two are surprise. You got Amari Clark in his second year, who had a really good year, and we know what the Saints can do with his receivers. But Ujana Shakur being the third receiver over there in Dolphins territory means a lot that he's sitting here at number two. So they got the number one and number two receivers in the AFC right now, and then you got the Saints and the Cardinals with 1 and 2 right now as well too. Evan Stewart is a monster, and he is the Eagles' #1 receiver over there. And I think he helped the Golden Child, in my opinion, take his game to another level. And me personally, I do think Zeus has been more part of that offense, and the fact that he's been more part of that offense, and they got the three-headed monsters over there. They got the quarterback, the receiver, and the running back in Philadelphia. And Evan Stewart will not be going anywhere soon. I think he's legit, and he's a problem in this league, along with David Bell. I think with David Bell, he's a different type of receiver. He is a guy that can that can get open deep. But he's a possession guy, man. This guy makes catches, and he makes important catches. And he's really the engine that gets that team going when they have to throw the ball. It goes through this guy for sure. So David Bell's a dog too. Roderick Smith, the veteran, and that high octane offense that wide receiver for. And then Velus Jones makes a different team. He gets traded from New York to the Raiders, and I don't know if this might be his first Pro Bowl. This is what I mean, man. Derek King is over there doing special shit right now. As Village Jones, he's been a deep threat when he was in New York, but now he's the guy in Las Vegas, and I think we're going to see him more often. We got five receivers, five on both sides are some young gunners right here. Tate, we like Cornell Tate, we like Branch. They both from the same class. These guys are, really big time receivers right now. Two different type of receivers. We got a speed demon for the Texans at 5'10", 187, that Tyreek Hill type shit. And then Tate is a big 6'3" guy that can catch the ball in possessions and make big plays. Torrey Franklin, the #2 receiver in the Saints offense. And then you have Johnny Wilson, a 6'7", computer team player right now. But 6'7", at receiver, you got a tight end you're throwing to. So let's get to the tight ends at this point right now. Eric Gilbert, man, tight end 1 right now in the NFC. He's special, man. I think, honestly, as many weapons as the Cardinals have, I think this is the most solid weapon they have. I know Wyman is a monster at receiver. These guys still arguing and shit. Austin. Y'all whack as hell, both of y'all. All right, so tight end 2, Arroyo. Arroyo goes from New York to 49ers, and all of a sudden he's the second in the Pro Bowl right now. He's coming off the bench. And
You know
Sharps.
what? Chase Lucas left New York acting dummies. Motherfucking Arroyo, Velas,
So you got
Atuda in the
you
top
got you
five
got a
running
lot of
backs and
guys.
shit.
You got a lot of guys leaving that roster and out there making some
Some
noise,
bullshit.
making some noise everywhere, huh?
Bullshit. I'm signing niggas to slave deals next year.
Yeah. G. Scott for the Lions.
Y'all staying on the roster forever.
Oh
What
my
we talking
God, Jets got K. Auden, and then G. Scott. I think G. Scott is going to be. I think next year we're going to see even better play out of G. Scott at the tight end position. I think he's getting accustomed to it, and I think we're going to see him emerge as probably their #1 receiving threat in that offense over there. In my opinion, I can see that happening. You look at the line. You got Cross. You got Jones. The Browns made some waves here when it comes down to offensive linemen right now, which is impressive, man. They got some Pro Bowl linemen up here. Now, Max, you had a problem with one of your guys winning the offensive lineman of the year, but didn't get the Pro Bowl, right?
about?
All right, so you got Harold from the 49ers. You got Mumford
Did.
from the Bills. The Bills been getting linemen on here too. Klein's from the Cardinals. So the Arizona Cardinals got their #1 left guard. And you're looking at Green over here from the Browns. So the Browns got 2 offensive linemen in the Pro Bowl right now. Then you look at left guard #2. When we start looking at these guys, you're looking at the 49ers with Chio, and then you're looking at Parks for the Bills. At center #1, you got Ingram for the 49ers. So it looks like the Niners got 3 offensive linemen out of 5 starting in the Pro Bowl right now. Um, you got Divine for the Bills. Then you look at center #2, the Eagles guy is here in Divins. And then Parham, the Texans, at right guard number 1, Lewis for the 49ers. So
No,
now I'm looking at 4 49ers in the
you
Pro
didn't say
Bowl on the
thanks for the
offensive
lighter.
line. This is
You
why
got
you're,
it.
yo, yo, you killing me right now, dog. This is why your offensive lineman ain't make the Pro Bowl. The Niners got 4 out of 5 linemen in the Pro Bowl right now.
The thing is, this nigga still won best offensive alignment in the NFC. How the fuck did any of the 49ers pass the best offensive lineman in the year? It doesn't happen on the AFC side. What kind of fucking
Um,
bullshit is that?
I don't know, but I know they got the right guard. Look, they got
That's
left
some
tackle
bullshit.
too. Look, the Niners got left tackle too. They got left guard number 2. They got center number 1. They got right guard number 1. All in the Pro Bowl right now. They balling right now. Shout out to Drew and the offensive line over there. That's that three-headed monsters in the backfield. Got that shit popping like that. All right, so right guard 1 is Lloyd for the Bills. Right guard number 2, Sheldon for the Lions. And then you got Nadoma Agar for the Browns. So the Browns got 3 offensive linemen that made the Pro Bowl. The Texans got 2. Evan Neal, right tackle 1. The Cards got the number 2 right tackle on Russell. And then the Broncos got the number 2 right tackle and Spitzer. All right, and now that's our offensive lineman in the Pro Bowl. Shout out to those guys that made it. When you look at the defensive side of things, start our left one. You got Trayvon Walker, Cardinals. You got Bryce Ware, Broncos. 2 dog DNs, almost double, almost 20 sacks this year, if not 20, close to it. You got Tyreek Smith, another Cardinal there, sitting there at the left end, number 2. And then you got my guy, Keyshawn James from HBCU school. The Texans got a big time HBCU connection because they're getting a lot of dogs from out of the HBCU, out of the SWAC and other in the MEAC and things like that. All right, so Calvin Green for the Vikings is right in 1, and then you're looking at Sealer for the Raiders, who to me stepped up all year. He had 20 sacks this year, so this guy balled out. Shout out to Ray Ray, man. He got some guys on his Pro Bowl list, man. How you know the young boy getting better? Because he's getting nothing but Pro Bowls running around. Jobo for the 49ers at right end number 2, and then Jordan Burch for the Dolphins sitting at number 2 on the D line. Now, the number 1 D tackle, Isaiah Mincy for the Lions. And then you got Dumas, another HBCU kid from Prairie View for the Houston Texans at D tackles number 1. At number 2, you're looking at Chuck Smith. He's doing it with another team over there for the Seahawks. And he did it with the Jaguars. Now he's doing it with the Seahawks at Pro Bowl. And the AFC and the Pro Bowl and the NFC. Shout out to uh, to that guy. To that guy, the veteran too. He an old head too, so definitely shout out to him. All right, now when you look at the D tackles, number 2, you got Bugsy Smith, traded from the Cowboys to the Raiders, and he's the number 2 D tackle on the Pro Bowl. It's another Raider, man. Shout out to Ray Ray. Keep it pushing, Ray Ray. Keep doing what you're doing, because you got him up here balling right now. Now you're looking at Tyler Davis for the 49ers at D tackle number 3, and then Kitchens for the Bills at D tackle number 3. All right, left outside linebacker number 1. The Vikings got that, and the Bengals got Will Anderson from Alabama. Chris Braswell for the Alabama Crimson Tide, who is now the Falcons. So shout out to the Falcons. And then you got Dorian Tolan for the Bills, diaper dandy too, balling out. All right, so Keontae Hampton at HBCU, Jackson State for the Panthers, and then Jeremiah Wilder for the Jaguars, our middle linebackers number 1. Sony Styles in his first season as a full-time linebacker for the Cowboys is sitting at middle linebacker number 2, and then Devin Ward, the Terminator, is sitting at middle linebacker 2 for the AFC and the Kansas City Chiefs. You got Tomlin Fox for the Packers at right outside linebacker number 1, and Barno, the sack machine. This guy has been 20 sacks plus for the last 3 years for the Bills right now. He's number 1 over there in the AFC. You got Jet Black for the Saints, sitting at right outside linebacker number 2, and then you got Christian Harrison for the Jets, sitting at linebacker number 2 for the AFC. Now, when it comes down to the cornerback, Reeves Allen with 12 interceptions this year. He's the number 1 corner in the NFC Pro Bowl. And Eli Ricks, who led the league in interceptions this year, is the number 1 corner for the AFC. Next up, shutdown, Chris Samuels for the 49ers. And you're looking at Gilmore for the Tennessee Titans. When you go down to cornerback number 3 to play in the slot, you got Mullins for the Lions and Deuce Chestnut, the hometown hero, for the Dolphins. At 4, you got Daniels for the Eagles and Isaac Taylor-Stewart for the Bills. Shout out to the cornerbacks that are in the Pro Bowl this year. Now, Dawkins for the Cardinals at safety number 1 right now. Daxton Hill for the Tennessee Titans is free safety number one in the AFC. That Titans secondary is off the hook. You got Damon David for the Falcons in the NFC at number two safety, and Brisker for the Houston Texans at the number two safety. At strong safety number one, you got Davis Jr. from LSU and from LSU to 49ers. 49ers got a bunch of Pro Bowlers this year. They are balling out. And then Peter McCoy from the old Giants now, he's a Texan. So Texans got two safeties in the Pro Bowl this year. Orlando Jordan, oldie but goodie for the Saints. And then you got Sands, another oldie but goodie for the Browns, are at strong safeties number two. When it comes down to punt return and kick returns, you got Salam for the Colts. You got Hurley. Give me a second. And Hurley has played for the Falcons. And then Gallagher for the Lions and Palmer for the Steelers. All right, so that's your 2033 Pro Bowl lineup. And guys that shout out to everybody that got guys on here, and then the guys that got multiple guys on here, definitely shout out to y'all. Hopefully you could build off of those type of players. You know, they're gonna take that next step, man. On Pro Bowl guys, they come back on your roster and they ready to go, man. So shout out to everybody who had Pro Bowl guys running up and down a roster, and we could argue. You know, the quarterback argument started a argument in the comment section for the last hour. So that tells you that guys are invested, man. And we can make these arguments for probably every position that's on here in the Pro Bowl. You can argue who's the better guy, you know what I mean, on each side. Like, you can argue this guy's better, who's better. You can argue. But we got some good young diaper dandies that made the Pro Bowl this year that we expect to have great seasons next year. So shout out to everybody that made the Pro Bowl. Now, let's get to where we left off at in these games that were played. And let's get to that playoff bracket right now. When we left off, we were in the divisional round. And let's talk about what happened over there. So in the NFC, C1 versus 5, the 49ers, after beating the Lions 50-26, had to travel to New York and take on the New York Giants, the number one seed in the NFC. They get in the building and they lose the 47-21 game. We got to talk about how they lost and what happened. I already know what happened. You come down here to the turnovers and you're dealing with 7 interceptions. And anybody that throws 7 interceptions is, destined to lose a ball game, especially in the playoffs. You can't do that in the playoffs, no guy, at all. You can't be in the playoffs throwing 7 turnovers, man. Let's get to it though. All right. What happened in New York, man? New York. Bryce Young had an 87.7 QB rate, 948, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. You would say, I'm not. Are you proud of what Bryce Young did in this game? This is a little concerning to me. 9.1 QB rate. This might be the ultimate. Hold on, fuck the music. Listen, boy, you had 5 Pro Bowl offensive linemen in that game, playing in this game, and you had a 9.1 QB rating. Come on, Drew. You ain't even reached double digits in your QBR, cuz. What the fuck happened over here? Was the Giants defense that good? What was going on over here? Mm-mm-mm. That man had 9.1 QBR, 79 yards, no teats, 7 twitters. Oh my God. 31%. Oh my God. I mean, Bryce ain't do too well in this game either, but they didn't have to rely on him. Hamlin showed up 24 carries for 29 yards. He's been a monster all season, especially in his last 2 playoff games. Patron, 17 carries, 98 yards, 5.8. He had a fumble in this game. I mean, the Giants won this game because of their defense, because offensively it looked like a little struggle here. I don't know, what was going on there, but Pittman scored a touchdown, 3 for 83, 27.7 yards a catch. It really wasn't too much offense from either one of the teams. It looked like the defenses showed up a little bit. I am concerned. If I'm the New York Giants, I'm a little concerned about my offensive output versus the 49ers. But defensively, they was saved. They were saved. So I would say that defensively, they definitely were saved. Let's go look at the 7 interceptions that happened for the Giants in this game and who all jumped under shit. All right, so the my player had two, Deuce Harmon had two, Nate Ritchie's had a pick, Phillips had a pick, and Bobby Teller. So their secondary went crazy in that game against the Niners, man. Where the Giants, man, they sit themselves back into a game that they haven't been to in a while, and that's the AFC Championship. Now on the other side of things, you're looking at a 24-21 big time game here, 24-21, man. 12-second loss here. Let's get into it, man. 410 passing yards for the, I mean, 410 offensive yards for the Arizona Cardinals to 251 for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 149 in the run game and 261 in the passing game. So the Cardinals dominated on the first two stats. Dominated. 19 first downs, dominated there. But this is the game here, man. Young Ray Wills coming to the playoffs and he don't hold no turnovers. And the Cardinals killed themselves before. Now I watched some of the first half of this game, and the Cardinals put themselves in bad situations with two major interceptions in the first half that I saw. One resulted into a touchdown, the other one resulted for keeping them off the board. And, that would have been a backbreaker with them getting the ball back at halftime. But they threw four picks in this game. You look at the individual stats. Ray Wills, 132.4, 183 yards, two touchdowns, no INTs in this game. He was sacked twice, but he was 11 for 18 in this game, 61%. That's well under his completion percentage, but it was still sticky enough where I'm not throwing no picks, and I threw two touchdowns, and those things matter. All right, Nico was 70% on the game, 17 for 24, but he threw two touchdowns and doubled up on the interceptions, and that's the ball game right there. He was also sacked twice as well. And look at the run game. Both of these guys, look at they gave their running back 17 carries. Cameron Harris, who's been doing it all year long, had 120 yards, 7.1 yards a pop, but he didn't see the end zone. Great. Jaleel Ruggs, 17 carries for 78 yards, only 4.6, but he scored in the game. And then Wheaton also came in and gave him 5 yards and a touchdown on 6 carries as well. You look at the passing game. Let's look at it. Gilbert, 5 catches, 89 yards and a touchdown. The other tight end, 4 for 70 in the touchdown. So both these two tight ends showed up and showed off. Young Ray with 4 catches, 70 yards, 17.5 yards a pop, though, and a touchdown. Big time touchdown off a turnover on a corner route. And then Josh Downs comes in, 4 for 59 and a touchdown. Mr. Do-It-All, Malachi Wyman was held at 3 catches for 56 yards in this ball game, and obviously it was a defensive game, so we got to go look at some of the defensive stats right now. And let's go look at sacks and see who got those 4 sacks. Joey Porter Jr. got a sack. Trayvon Walker got a sack. Tyreek Smith got a sack. 2 DN. And Shazier. So 2 linebackers and 2 DNs. 2 linebackers for the Bucks. 2 DNs for the Cardinals. INT wise though, there was none thrown by the Bucks, but Houston, the sub linebacker, stepped up and got 2. Ransom, Ohio State, 6 tackles and an INT, and then Tony Grimes shows up with 5 tackles and an INT on the game too, and that sends the Bucks to the NFC Championship game again to meet up against the New York Giants. And we'll be back to talk about that game. But on the other side of things, you had the Dolphins travel after winning a big time game over the Bills. They traveled to Baltimore, and this game came down to Philip Harper not really having a clean pocket, man. He didn't really have a time. He was sacked 8 times in the game, but he was hurried about 20. They made him uncomfortable, although he still threw the ball for a large amount of yards. Um, he was very uncomfortable in that game. 422 to 412 yards wise, 65 rushing yards to 188 rushing yards for the Baltimore Ravens. Dolphins threw for 357. Baltimore threw for 224 yards in this game. Dolphins had 17 to 12 on his first down, and it was a clean game for Anthony Iverson and 4 turnovers for Philip for Phillips Harper. When you look at that, that's the game, that's the ball game right there. Again, they apply pressure. 149.3 QB rating, 239, 2 touchdowns for Anthony Iverson, 89.6, 98 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 3 INTs. But they were sacked 5 times. But look, the offense got to Anthony Iverson 4 times in this game as well. So both quarterbacks was eating the dirt a lot in this game. However, 8 for 12 in passing attempts for the Ravens, 22 for 37 for Phillips Harper, 66% for Baltimore, 59% for Philip Parker. And when it comes down to the run game, 22 carries for 162 and 3 touchdowns, 7.4 yards a pop for B. John Robinson. He showed up and showed off. Anthony Robinson also produced a touchdown on the ground as well. In the passing game, Danny Gray showed up 6 catches, 132 and a touchdown. Kevin Coleman had 2 catches for 126 and a touchdown in this game. Deion Smith scored on 4 catches. Lloyd scored on 5 catches. And then DW scored on 2 catches in this ball game. You look at the defensive side of things. You look at the tackles for losses. Blackshire had one. Young Yanni Carliftis. Sack-wise, look at the sack. And Jordan Brooks had 2. Inani White had a sack and a half. And then Peter Woods with a sack and a half. Stingley, Williams, Floyd. Blackshire had a half a sack and Breezy had a half a sack. INT-wise, looking at the guys that stepped in front of shit, Derek Stingley, Travis Hunter, and Kyle Hamilton, their best 3 DBs in their secondary to kick off. And the Baltimore Ravens take their talent and their team to the AFC Championship after being removed from this game 1 year ago. Now, down here in Houston, the Broncos took that Houston team and went into, took that Broncos team and went into Houston and got the win 24-16. And let's look at the stats. Broncos won the running game 137 to 112. Both these teams run the ball really well. Offensive yards gained 296 to 270, 133 in the passing game and 184, 13 first downs to 12, and only 1 interception in this game. So let's look at the numbers. 115 QB rating to 84, 198 in a pick, 151 no touchdowns. Fedora was sacked 4 times. Dallas was sacked 3 times in this game. The run game though. Baxter had 21 carries for 139 yards, 6.6 yards a pop, 3 rushing touchdowns in there. And Jay Martin had 20 for 74 with a whopping 3.7 yards a pop. That's the game right there. 1 touchdown. They weren't able to really get it going running the ball. In the passing game, we saw a lot of spot play, but Marvin Harrison had 3 catches. Baxter caught the ball 4 times out the backfield. Bell only had 1 catch, and Thaddeus Jones Bell only had 2 catches in this ball game. Defensively, when you look at the other side of it, wasn't really a lot of turnovers in this game, so this came down to who ran the ball better. Leonard Taylor had a sack and a half. DeMarco Hines had a sack, and then P.J. Mustafa had a half of a sack in this game. And again, there's only 1 interception thrown. That interception belongs to Silas Sanders. Shout out to the Broncos for taking themselves back to the AFC Championship game. And you deal with that game, you're looking at a 28-16 ball game. This game started off in a blizzard. And at the end of the day, this wasn't one of those games that you're gonna better sit back, drop back, throw the ball all over the park type shit. They both came out with 2 strong run games, and it went 2 different ways. Simple as that, right? You're looking at an 86.9 QB rating, 926, no touchdowns, no interceptions though, and he wasn't sacked at all. And playing Baltimore and not being sacked states a lot. Iverson had a 59.6. You can't win ball games like that, but the run game was there, 71 yards passing, 1 interception, no touchdown. He was 8 for 9 in the game, and Shador was 10 for 16. So 88%, 62%. But these numbers, the completion percentage doesn't really show those numbers in the game because they were terrible in the passing game. Now, let's get to the run game. B. John with 25 carries. He had 200 yards, 8 yards to pop, 3 touchdowns, 7 broken tackles. Baxter had 22.6 with a 2.7 average, and that's pretty much the ball game. They wasn't really able to sustain drives. They were held to field goals the whole first half, and they scored their only touchdown in the 4th quarter. Anthony Iverson also contributed with 6.9 yards a pop and a touchdown. Shador Sanders also scored on the ground late for them. So this wasn't a defense. This was a defensive struggle. Neither team could get their footing. Neither team could really get the passing game going. Shador, to his credit, he did throw some dots. Those guys just didn't hold on to the ball in the weather element. Other than that, this game was just a black and blue game, running up and down the field. Who's going to not turn the ball over through the run game? That's what it comes down to. Really defensively, you're not going to see major stops. Solomon DeShields had 8 tackles. Shiloh has 7. Elliott Donald was really effective in the run game, 6 and 1 tackle for loss. Bryce Ware had their only sack, and he played with 6 tackles as well in this game. And there was an interception thrown by Anthony Iverson and Bobby Taylor, the diaper dandy, picked that off. So that takes us to the NFC Championship game, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are back in the Super Bowl, 42-28 over the New York Giants, the first place team. They started off with a 14-0 lead. They ended up with 24-7, and then the Giants did have a good third quarter, 14-7, but 11 points in the fourth put this game away, 42-28. 396 yards, 358 yards, 169 in the run game, 37 rushing yards for the Giants. Giants is the reason why they're not going to win this ball game is because they had to go away from the run game early because they were down, and 37 rushing yards against the Bucks means you're one dimensional, and it's hard to really play a team of that caliber being one dimensional. So 227 yards in the passing game for the Bucks, 321 for the Giants. When it comes down to turnovers, they threw three interceptions. The Bucks fumbled once and was late, so it didn't kill them, but the three turnovers did kill the New York Giants in this ball game. All right, Ray Wills had 132.5 QB rating, 240 yards, two touchdowns, no INTs. The guy just doesn't throw interceptions. Bryce Young, 92.2, 321, three touchdowns, three INTs in this ball game. And then when it comes down to the run game again, Ray Wills had 42 yards and a touchdown. And Jaleel Ruggs said, I still can carry the ball at a high volume with 29 carries, 4.3 yards a pop, two rushing touchdowns in this ball game, and that just about do it. The receiving game goes to the Bucks. Rutgers had 7 catches for 102 yards. The new tight end for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 14.6 yards a pop, and Mekhi Pittman also 2 catches, 91 yards and a touchdown. Bauer had a touchdown with 3 catches. Worthy had a touchdown, 3 catches as well. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are now playing in the Super Bowl for the sixth straight time up against the Baltimore Ravens. So the rematch is back up. We'll talk about this matchup tomorrow on the show. Other than that, fellas, holla at us when you holla at us. I appreciate all y'all patience. We will be playing the Super Bowl tomorrow night. And because of some things I got to do, we're probably not going to have our draft until Sunday, which is going to be in the afternoon. If anything changes, I'll let you guys know. Other than that, holla at me when you holla at me. You heard?